Continuing on, we are now joined by our NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Chase contenders, William Byron, driver of the number 9 Liberty University Toyota, Matt Crafton, driver of the number 88 Ideal Door Menards Toyota, and Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Red Horse Racing Toyota. All of you are competing in the round of 6 in the inaugural Chase. Martinsville, typically a very competitive racetrack for the trucks. Why don't all three of you discuss expectations this weekend and the importance of a win here, so you can focus on the final race at Homestead. We'll start with Timothy.
I always look forward to coming into here, and being able to advance to the round of 6 was big for us as a team. We've worked hard all year long, and we feel like that consistency helped us get to this point. Being at home, I put a lot of extra pressure on myself and to do well. But, in the past, we've always had a lot of success here. I'd like to have had more wins than what we've had, but, I've had a lot of success with the late model and getting my first win here in this race back in '09. So it's a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum from my standpoint, as well as the team, to come in and hopefully to have a good day tomorrow, a clean 200 laps, and to get that important win that'll punch our ticket through to Homestead. But if we can't get the win, our main goal is to try to get a good top 5 finish and stay consistent, and hopefully that win is right around the corner. If not, then we have to be really consistent with top 3s, I feel like, to point our way through to Homestead if we can't win.
William?
Yeah, I think just it's a big race just because start of the next round. So we've been waiting for this. We kind of since New Hampshire, so we're looking forward to it. I think the guys have been working really hard at KBM, and both trucks are in good position with the 4 truck too. So hopefully we start this round off strong, hopefully with a win. And if we can't do that, like he said, just try and get top 3s to get to Homestead. So that's the ultimate goal.
Matt?
I always look forward to coming to Martinsville. It's definitely one of my favorite racetracks. It's where we all started, short tracks, and we've won a couple times here, and we've always ran good in the past. We were off a little bit in the spring, but we feel we know why we were off a little bit in the spring. So hopefully we can carry the momentum that we've had here in the past and have a good run tomorrow. But I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the Chase, and I just go race here on race. Each race it's the last race of the season, and if you advance, you advance. If you don't, you don't. To be totally honest, there's always 2017, and that's the way I feel. And hopefully we can win. That'd be great to be able to punch your ticket to be able to go to Homestead and fight for a championship, but we have 2 more rounds after that, I guess.
We'll start with Jonathan.
It's kind of the question for each of you. For Timothy and Matt, can you talk about your perception of the new participation rule and how that'll affect the Camping World Truck Series? And for William, moving up to Xfinity Series next year, how fine of a line is the balance for you as a young guy to be able to race against someone like Kyle Busch or Joey Logano and get experience racing against those guys in the Xfinity Series, but then again being able to possibly decide the championship amongst yourselves?
As far as the new rule, I think it's fair, but at the same time too, as a competitor in me, you want to beat those guys because, maybe before my window is completely shut, I'll have the opportunity to race against them. They make you better. But, the deal is that I look at driving a truck and then going back and driving a late model. It makes you better. You know what I mean? Same way I look at it is when a Cup guy comes from a high horsepowered vehicle back to a truck, it makes you better. More track time, stuff like that. Our schedule is very spread apart in the beginning and then very condensed on the backside. I think all these guys will tell you that any time that you can stay in the seat consistently every week, it makes you better. Not that we're not bad by any means, but when you can have that extra advantage with track time and maybe some setup differences from the Cup side to our side and the Xfinity side, that's a leg up on you. So I think it's fair. And, moving on, we'll just do our best to try to keep the competition from the Red Horse side as strong as we can and what we know how to try to get that win that we haven't gotten this year. So you know, and, you know, you got Cup guys running this weekend in our race, and they'll be tough to beat as well.
I love racing against the Cup guys when they run truck races. Are they better than what we are? They race more than we do. At the end of the day, I've always explained it as, and you ride a bike way more, you're going to be a little bit better just because you have that experience. But I love going and competing against him, because the only way we're going to get better is to have somebody to be able to chase. And at that point, one of those Cup guys have that experience, so at least we get to see where we stack up against them. So I actually love racing against them, and I've always loved it when Kyle's raced against us and Kevin and all those guys. So I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off of what they said, it's important to have those guys in the series. You know, I learned a lot the first time Kyle was here at Martinsville in the spring. He raced, I think, Charlotte too, and just seeing the things that he did that sometimes you don't know to do or you don't think are possible at the time. So the experience level definitely helps those guys, but they're obviously really talented. So it's important that we get out there, learn how to do restarts with them, learn how to capitalize on pit road that they do so well. So those things are going to be important, but I think having them out of the chase next year might help the series regulars kind of get that chance to advance to the next round, and like we don't have now.
All right, we'll go to Chad right here in the middle, and then we'll go to Bob.
Chad Hall, BTW 21. Guys, big announcement last week, lights going up at Martinsville. Your thought about possibly running here under the lights on a Saturday night?
I love it. Was here for the Martinsville late model weekend, and Clay announced to the drivers in the drivers meeting that that race will be ran under the lights. So when I was walking out of the racetrack, just kidding, I said in the truck drivers meeting, are you going to tell us we're going to be the second ones to run under the lights? And he just smiled and said, maybe you don't want to miss your drivers meeting. But you know, I know he had a good poker face for sure, but I think it's huge for the area. I think it's huge for this racetrack. This racetrack produces a lot of great racing regardless of what kind of activity is on the racetrack. And you know, I hope that in the near future that it gets announced that we're go under the lights, because you know, it's already action-packed as it is during the day. I can only imagine what it would look like under the lights.
All right, we'll go to Bob, Kenny, and finish up with Chris.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Timothy, do you view the new rule as far as limiting Cup participation in trucks? Will it help you guys find sponsorship at all if you guys win more races? If those guys or if there are fewer of them to possibly win?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, if you get more wins or way more consistent, then it can't hurt by any means to help that process be a little bit easier. So, I mean, we just have to wait and see and how it shakes out. Like I said, you know, I always enjoy racing against those guys because, like William and Matt said, it does make you better. And you know, I think it's fair. And you know, if we can get there and win, you know, let's say if before we've won 2 a year, if we can win 4 a year, that definitely is going to help our argument and leverage a little more, trying to solidify that sponsor.
All right, we'll go to Kenny.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. William, if I'm not mistaken, I think you had a history midterm yesterday. I was wondering how you did on that, and also, how's it been dividing your time between schoolwork and racing? And a lot of people would think, well, you know, once you sign contracts and know what your future is going to be, why are you even bothering with school? What are you studying? What do you hope to gain from that?
I think it went well. I think it was a pretty good test for me, so it's glad to get that out of the way. And normally I wouldn't have midterms on a Thursday, but it was good to kind of get that out of the way and focus on the weekend. So, you know, it's a good balance for me. I think it helps me not overthink what I'm doing on the racetrack. You know, I like to do that, so I think it's good to kind of limit that and keeps my mind active. So it's also, you know, it's part of the sponsorship. So Liberty University's done a lot for me, and I owe it to them to pay that forward. So it's important, and we'll see what happens as the future goes and see as the schedule ramps up next year. But right now it's been working pretty well, and my team's been on board with it, and I've been able to get to the shop when I need to.
All right, and final question to Chris Knight.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. For all three of you, is Martinsville this weekend considered kind of like a wild card just as Talladega was last weekend? And can you afford to have a mulligan this weekend? If you have a bad race, can you go to Texas and Phoenix and recover in time enough to make it to Homestead?
I don't think you're going to be able to have a mulligan this weekend and get onto the final rounds without a doubt. You definitely have to have a good run leaving this place, if it's a top 10 at worst case, to go into the next two to be able to make the final four. But I love coming here, and if it's meant to be, it'll be. I say that each and every week, and that's what I live and die by.
William and Timothy, do you want to answer that?
I don't think it's as much of a wild card as Talladega is. I think there's these guys are really good at Talladega, but I think for me that's a pretty big wild card. I don't know what to expect, and you're in a pack without really control of when wrecks are going to happen. So this place you can control a lot more. You can you can drive the truck, and you can figure out how to make your race truck go fast.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wild card for sure. Perfect example is 2014, the spring race, when we raced on Sunday. 15 to go, I was leading and Matt was second. One of the trucks went through the grass on turn 1 and kicked it up on the racetrack. No caution came out. When I got to it, it was nowhere to go, and he won, and we ended up finishing 6th. So, you can have a good day going, but at any given time, you can have something go wrong, and it either be of your doing or not be of your doing. So, again, a win is important, and no mulligan, I don't feel that in here, Texas, or Phoenix. So if you can't get that win, I don't think you can point your way through, just with a 5th place finish. I think it's going to have to be, a win or closer to it, especially, with the drivers that are in the round of 6th and how good they are and the equipment that they have.
All right, thanks for joining us, and good luck this weekend.